Hi, I'm Vanessa Simone,
And I'm Mimi Hayes.
and we are the
Girls
Girls
Next
Next Pour. Wow, today, welcome back.
We're almost at 30 episodes.
That's so wild. And I think it's so funny because we were just sitting here looking at our potential topics, and not one of them spoke to us today. So
nope, not a one.
So today, what's on the docket then?
We're just gonna shoot the shit. Cheers to that. I think a lot of it will actually.
We should have just get drunk today, honestly.
Man, what a good day to day drink as well.
Well, if we do another one, let's do the one after this
and then drunk episode. Yeah. Well, it's funny because you reached out to me this week because I had a particularly aggressive crash out, which I then put on the internet, which is
you can go watch it. No, just kidding.
Cry for help. Actually, I was like deep down, I was like, I hope this goes viral because I need a win right now.
Yeah, you need like some good validation, good vibes.
And I actually also put a snippet of it on my stories on Instagram, and like nobody said anything. So I was like,
really?
Was it not clear enough that I was like having a fucking meltdown? like So yeah, you were really sweet. You reached out to me. You sent me a lovely voice note. Essentially, long story short, my For You page on TikTok is a lot of like unemployed, sad people who are like late stage capitalism crashing out. And it hit me that I've been back in Colorado for 4 years and that I have not had a full-time job in 4 years. I've had plenty of jobs. I've had part-time jobs. I've had seasonal jobs. A lot of them only require a high school diploma. You know, I'm not using my degree. I'm not getting a salary. I'm not getting benefits. And I felt a sort of way about that. And I was like, I don't even know where my life is headed. And I can't afford a pot to piss in, you know? So I got really aggressively sad about that. And you said some really nice things to me. And I think you said too, like, well, if this is rock bottom, you can only go up from here, you know? And to that point, yes. And things can always be worse. And so I definitely
let's not think that way.
I know I hate to think that way.
But yeah.
But you know, sometimes that viewpoint can make you feel better. You're like, oh well, at least I'm not this. At least I'm not homeless. At least I'm not, you know,
in a way.
Down at that place. But I am crashing out. So
I actually, it's so interesting because you're over here crashing out, and I'm like, wow. Mimi hasn't had to do corporate for 4 years. Like, you know, like, I'm like, wow, that is so cool. You're like literally a creative.
You're literally
you know
living
what I mean?
the dream over here.
And it's so funny because like she's over here saying I want a corporate job, and I'm like, I'm in corporate, and I'm like, fuck, you know.
But both of them really suck for different reasons.
Yeah, and it's really hard, the balance, especially as a creative, because as a creative, all you want to do is create and be able to live, right? And then in the corporate side, all you want to do is be able to you want to be able to create and be able to live without having to do your corporate job. So it's like there's pros and cons of each position that you're in. Because I do remember being like doing so many gigs, and all it is, you feel like, God dang it, I just want steady income where I don't have to be constantly seeking out basically work, you know, so I could just survive and live. Because one thing that was hard about like living in New York is I didn't really get to enjoy New York for what it was, because I was working
to Broadway.
I didn't go to Broadway when I lived there. I didn't go to Broadway. I didn't go out to eat. I was always working like 5-6 jobs, and that's really hard. And so that's another thing that kind of scares me about LA, because I'm like, am I putting myself in a position now where, because LA is so much more expensive now, even more so than New York, in my opinion, because
it is actually,
you have to have a car, and then the car insurance, and then the gas. And then when I'm looking at it, I'm like, wow. And also I'm looking for places and that are safe, and I'm thinking, wow, $2,700 for a studio where I want to live, that is expensive, you know? So
and even if you do have the corporate job, that might be over half your paycheck.
Exactly. And I'm like, I'm not trying to spend over half my paycheck just on rent, which I know, like, you know, 50% is where you're trying to stay or whatever, but that's just a lot. And so then I'm like, dang, I don't know if, you know, California is going to be a permanent move, or maybe it's just like for a few months. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough because we both been on both sides of that lifestyle.
Mhm.
And, I
Mhm.
remember my first like corporate job in New York City, January of 2020. So
Yeah.
screw me. But I started like January 1st, and it was corporate, and I would go into uh, Dumbo. It was in Dumbo, Brooklyn, which I love that part of
Mhm.
Brooklyn. So I get on the train, go to work, be there at 8 a.m., leave by 5:30, and all I had the energy to do was to like get takeout for dinner and watch shitty TV and go to bed. I wasn't like, let me book some extra comedy shows this month. Let me do this. Let
Right.
me hang out with friends. I was like, no, I'm drinking through a fire hose. That's how I feel when I'm
Mhm.
working corporate. I felt that way when I was a teacher as well. And so I'm
Yeah.
amazed at all the things I was able to do while living that lifestyle. Actually, it's
Mhm.
quite impressive.
Yeah.
But for the most part, I was drinking from a fire hose and feeling really overwhelmed. But I remember the first time my paycheck went through, and it like, I was at like $30 in my fucking account. And then I was like, I have $3,000 now. Like, this is
Yay!
amazing.
Yeah.
Like, going from that to that is
Mhm.
such a good feeling, because you can actually exhale, and you're like, oh, okay, I can like buy groceries this week. I can like
Mhm.
not put something on my credit card, which is going to put me into further debt, down the
Mhm.
line. And I do have a lot of debt, from a lot
Mhm.
of different places, from getting my education to credit card debt. Um, I have some tax debt as well, because I get screwed over during tax season because I don't make enough money, but I don't take enough money out for
Mhm.
taxes because I'm using it to survive. That's the hard thing too, is they're like, oh, just save, 20% of your paycheck. I'm like, how? How do I do that? I
Yeah.
have to use that to live.
Mhm.
Um,
And that's what's so frustrating about these systems is like they're designed like it's like if you are poor, you're punished. If you are middle class, you're punished. But if you're wealthy, you're not punished, which is so confusing. And it's like that's actually been what I've been trying to learn right now is financial literacy because I'm like there has to be a way out of this, because somehow people are getting out of like poverty and they are getting into the next tax bracket or becoming financially free. And I'm like, how do I do that? Because I don't, I, it's just not fair to be living the way that we live right now. It just doesn't make any sense. And it's crazy because, like you were saying on disability, how you can't make too much, but you also can't make too little, then, right? And so I don't know, it just makes no sense.
and
But
by making any money is too much because the ceiling is so low. So it's not
mhm.
even like they're like, hey, you can make up to 5,000, dollars a month. No, it's like 1,600.
Like,
Can you
that's
live off of
crazy
1,600
that
a month?
yeah. So,
You
like,
know,
in a way, I know that you're getting off and, like, kinda sad were you sad about it or what?
I just think it was a mistake
To
to
get
get on
on
it,
it?
because even though I got 25 grand, which is almost gone by now because I've been using it to live and survive, and money is spent, and I'm also not great at saving money. But also I invested in my business. I've been educating
You've been
myself.
doing
Like,
it
I don't think I've been using it irresponsibly, but I'm sad that that money's gone. But I don't think $25,000 is worth the trouble that this program puts you into, and it
mm,
forces you into poverty and makes you stay there and
yeah.
punishes you if you are successful. And I have been more successful this year than in past years before, and so that's been hard because when I decided to go on disability, I couldn't work. I was having migraines every day.
Mhm.
um couldn't really do anything, wasn't really going out with friends, wasn't like driving around town. I was just like sick.
Mhm.
So I was thinking, if things are going to stay this way, I'm not going to be able to work even part-time.
Yeah.
And so it made sense to get on disability at that point, and then my bleed stopped growing and I stabilized. And
Mhm.
I still don't think I can work full time. That's the hard thing, is that like I know myself, and that 9 to 5 schedule, while it's a schedule, and I do benefit from a schedule, and
It's rigid.
a rigid routine. it's aggressive because if I'm looking at a screen all day, like most people feel this way, but I feel it a lot more intensely. I used to fall asleep sitting up at my computer when I was working my marketing job 9 to 5. And they were like 8 a.m. They're like, why aren't you on Slack? I'm like, because my eyes are glued together. Like, because I'm still trying to get my life in order. Like, I can't believe I was a high school teacher and I was in that classroom at like 6:30 a.m. I cannot believe I did that. And I was pushing myself past what I'm actually capable of doing because that comes at a price for me. Because guess what? My speech is going to be slurred. I'm going to be dragging ass all day. So tired. The brain fog I have is so crazy. But I'm able to mask it so that like a lot of people don't realize I struggle as much as I do. But it is a disability. Like it's a genuine thing. And so I do worry about if I'm going to get a full-time job, if I'm going to be able to keep up with the workload and the intensity of that. Fast-paced, right? Like fast-paced environment. I'm like, I need to be a librarian, okay? Like, and they work hard. I think they do work really hard, but I need like a quiet space and I need like certain tasks and like breaks. Like if I could take a nap in the middle of a work day, I would. Like, and I would feel great, you know?
Yeah.
Because that would be very accessible to me to have a nap room, you know, like, but that's just not how corporate America is built. They don't care if you have a disability. They don't care if you need a nap in the middle of the day, you know? So I'm looking for full-time work. I don't know if it's possible. I did just get a part-time job. I came from the training today as a tour guide, and I'm excited, but I'm also like, oh, this isn't enough. You know, it's not going to be enough money and income to get me through, and it's only seasonal, and all these things that run through my head when I get a gig. But I am going to have fun doing it. Like, I am built for this. I am, you know, despite having just done a whole one-woman show about being a fake tour guide, I think I'd make a really good legitimate tour guide.
Legitimate tour guide. Yeah. Yeah, you could definitely do it. But I also think that you could definitely, I mean, if you do need that corporate job, there are people who are working corporate jobs that aren't hard and making a decent living.
I feel like men find those jobs a lot easier. I've been on dates with men who are like, yeah, I like don't do anything all day. I like move my mouse around and I like make one phone call and that's it. I'm like, where'd you get this job, Jonathan?
I don't think that's men. That's like just there's a lot of people in general who have that.
Is that true?
Yeah. I think you need to, I feel like you need to start changing your FYP. Be like, easy jobs that make a lot of money.
Yeah.
Like start telling it that so your brain starts to see the possibilities out there. Because I have a few friends who are making pretty decent money who have very easy remote jobs that they're like, oh, yeah, my job is totally fine. So you just have to get one of those. Yeah, and they are out there. There's literally billions of jobs. But I know that's like easier said than done. But yeah, because I remember going back to also 2019. So I was in New York for a few years and finally, so I was in New York and I remember I was there and looking for work and finally got the job, got the offer accepted. And it was literally March 3rd or something, 2020, or when I got accepted. And then the pandemic hit and they pretty much were like, actually, we don't know what's happening, so you don't have a job anymore. And that was going to be like my full-time job to take me from the gig economy to finally having a job. So that was hard because I feel like my hope was shattered. And I feel like that's kind of where, I don't know, I feel like that's where you were when you crashed out. I feel like you looked like your confidence was gone. And you were like, you're just so like, what is it? Down in the dumps, which is rightfully so.
And also sometimes it's like I think I've been on autopilot for 3 years. 3 of the 4 years I've been here. It's only in the past year my eyes have been open. And coming back to Colorado has always in my mind meant to be temporary. So anytime I come back here, it's not because I wanted to. It's not because I was like, and I'm ready to settle down in the Rocky Mountains. Like, it's never been what I wanted. And so when I'm here, it's because I don't want to be here. And so already my mindset is shit because I don't want to be here. And so for like 3 years, I didn't want to be here, but I didn't know what else to do.
Yeah.
I didn't have a plan. I didn't have a city I was thinking about. I'd already done New York. I'd done LA. I just came from LA. I was like, the likelihood of me going right back to LA seems unlikely because of all the money I spent, you know? And I just didn't know really what to do. And my situation also was out of my control, being sick, you know? So it's only been the last year that I've been like, hey, I actually want to make a plan. And I actually have an idea of what I think I want to do. And I've been getting closer and closer to that. But then when I think about just how long I've been here, some of that does feel like wasted time, or like, what was I doing that whole time? I was just like, I don't know. What was I doing? Like, I don't even know. But
you were doing so much.
And I have. And like, I'm never able to see everything that I have done while I've been here, because the mindset is just like, I don't want to be here, you know? So that hurts too, because I want it to be a quick transition and like, okay, yeah, I'm home for a year. I'm home for a year and a half tops.
You're like, I'm here for a month.
I'm here for a month, and then I bounce back. And like the bounce back has been so different this time than any other time. Like from in between New York and LA, I was only home for like a year and a half in between New York and LA, and I worked that full-time marketing job. I saved like 25 grand. I was working. I had more money than I knew what to do with. I went to Iceland and blew a bunch of money there. I didn't even keep track of my money because I was working in corporate, and so I had all this money saved up. And so then I went to LA kind of with this confidence that, you know, I could make it work like I did in New York City, and hemorrhaged my money and lost my job again and had another brain hemorrhage. So, you know, it just obviously wasn't the right time for me to like make that sustainable, I guess.
So I guess my thing is, what do you think can be different going forward, I guess? Or like, how do you, because I think that's actually a good topic to talk about, is when you're not exactly where you want to be, like, how do you still keep a positive mindset about where you are, but knowing that it's not your final destination or where you want to be, and still keep yourself almost on the path that you want to get onto, even though you're not where you want to be per se?
I don't know if I figured it out, but timelines are good, deadlines are good, accountability is good. So the fact that I opened up to you that I was thinking about going to LA, and then you opened up to me that you were also thinking about going to LA, then that sparks a bit of a camaraderie about this idea of doing it. So I know I'm not crazy to want this, because you also want it, you know, for different reasons, but, you know, some similar reasons. I feel we both want to go there, but yeah, I think I need something consistent and sustainable, and I'm really exhausted from gig economy, and I would need to figure out like a work-life balance. If I was going to get a full-time job, it would need to be a really good fit for me, where people like know that I can't what I love in like an email is at the bottom of the email, it's like, hey, I may be responding at different hours. It doesn't mean you have to respond right away. Have you ever seen those paragraphs? They're like, hey, this isn't your whole life. Like, answering this email isn't life or death. Okay. So like, take your time. Like, I want corporate to be more like that, where it's like not so aggressive. And even like, I was working 9 to 5s that were asking shit of me at 6 p.m. and like asking me to drop everything. And I'm like, listen, I'm at an appointment, or I'm at a comedy show. Like, I'm not doing jack shit for you. This expectation that it has to be your whole life and you must revolve around it. It's like, this is literally just how I survive. Like, just leave me alone.
Yeah. I think it's like figuring out how you, like, starting with the small things. So kind of like, I know we talked about already with your social media, like what you intake, start to notice, because what I've noticed is that social media is a breeding ground for the scarcity mindset. It is literally so prevalent, and we unconsciously, subconsciously, I don't know.
Yeah.
we subconsciously fall into that because it is like social media is designed for that emotion, right? That heightened emotion of controversy. So it's like, oh, you see something's happens or something, like somebody posts of their house or something, and then the comments are like, must be nice to be rich or something, or I can't, I'm too poor for this, or I'm this. And it's like, oh my God, it is embedded in social media and the things that we are seeing. And I feel like this past week, it's very recent, but this past week, I've been starting to notice, wow, these little things are adding up to make you, like, to make people truly believe that they can't achieve what they want, which is so crazy because then on the other hand, so I've been really trying to surround myself with people who are like beyond ahead of me in terms of career, finance, all of the things that I want out of life. I've been trying to surround myself with people like them. And whether it's reading books, or because books can be free, right? And so it's not like you have to break the bank to get yourself surrounded by the people that you're trying to be like, or that you want to be. You want that kind of energy to come to you, right? And so it's so interesting because on social media people are complaining about like how, and rightfully so, like I'm not saying that, like, I'm not saying that late stage capitalism doesn't exist, because it sure does. But it's wild to me that we have online, people are like trying to figure out they're trying to figure out their situation, but it is so much scarcity mindset. Then I have like my um group of gals who are like, oh yeah, so the stock market, this, blah 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 blah, I have this going on, and yeah, that's a dip, but I'm gonna be okay. And it's so interesting how when I've noticed this too, whenever I start to obtain that scarcity mindset, it's like almost like shit literally just starts happening. It's like a snowball shit effect. But when I start to think small, tiny little things like, okay, this may not be going well, but what is like the good in it? And like Mimi, I've seen what you do. Like you are literally, I know you're well beyond capable of having like a multi six figure corporate job, even without, like, given what you do. And it could be easy. I bet, I like don't even doubt it, cuz also with all the things that you've done the past 4 years, between comedy, between all your gigs, those are all skills that a lot of people in corporate don't even have. And it's crazy, so it's like it needs to be translated. And I know that that's not what you want per se, is a corporate job to be like, I know, but we know it's not the end all be all. But I just noticed that whenever I have to be more cognizant of when the scarcity mindset is starting to seep in, because then it just snowballs and it's like an exponential thing. And then on the other hand, it's like, okay, well, we like, remember when we went to like Canva conference, and to a lot of the people that I really admire, they may not have it all, but they're looking at what they have and realizing, okay, I can work with this. I can work with this. It's not the where I want to be, but I can work with it. I can work with what I've got. And then that energy, because it's true, like all of these, everything is energy. So whether it is money is just energy. That's it. And I'm learning that too, because on no matter where we are, it's like we've been taught to live that very shallow mindset of money only comes through suffering, or through a corporate job, or through whatever lie it is that they want to tell you. But the thing is, money isn't like, that's money doesn't have that assignment unless we assign it that. And so that's what I've been trying to learn this past week, especially learning more about the brain and like psychology of abundance and scarcity, and how do I continuously improve my brain so that way I can keep on the energy path of like, oh yeah, energy comes to me, like positive energy comes to me. Because when you say, like, I think of a lot of things as spells, and it's like when you say, oh, I'll never XYZ, they know you won't. You really won't. Like, it's just because you've put it out into the universe. But if you're like, oh, I'm literally so fucking talented. I could do this, 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 and this. I also deserve, and I know how to work these things. And I think a lot of times we also have come under this like assumption that we're not good with money, but it's like, no, it's not that I don't think a lot of women, especially, I don't think we're bad with money. I just think it's been embedded in our brains to think that way so that we feel that way. But that's not true, because a lot of women, when they do have money, they're way better than men are. And the thing is, I'm like learning to see money more as, instead of when I used to think of money as like, I hated hearing money, because I always thought of it as like you have to suffer for it, and you have to do all these things. Whereas now I'm like, wait, money actually gets me to the life I want to live. Like, money is what gets you to take that acting class, right? So I'm starting to think of, no, money is my tool for fun. And when I start to think of it in a different light of, oh no, money is what gets me, because I know my brain is like all about fun. And when I can't have fun, then I freak out. Or when I can't do the things I want to do in life, or even when I can't just support myself, part of it is because I've been taught that money is it's only used for emergencies. Like, how boring. How, like, that's not fun. I don't want to think of emergencies as the only way to use my money. And so when I start thinking, okay, no, I want money because I know in like a year I'm going to want to go somewhere, and I want to just be able to go somewhere and pay for it. Then when I start to think of it in that way, or like, oh, I want to take this class, or I want to do this, or I want to do that. And if I have the money for it and the means for it, that's my tool. That's my energy that I get to get this money. And so, or to do what it is that I want to do. I don't know if I'm explaining that
You
right.
are, yeah.
But
I think I have, I'm avoidant. So even if I have or if I don't have money, I'm not paying attention because I don't want to look at my bank account because it stresses me out. Even if there's money in there. Because my mind is, it's going to go away. You know, it's going to just, the number is going to get lower and lower and lower.
But then,
and I'm not going to be able to, you know, boost it up. And so it's a constant avoidant technique here. So I think I genuinely am pretty bad with money, and that is also a brain injury thing because also I was never taught to manage my money.
But nobody was.
And nobody was. I mean, some people, but
yeah,
not me, per se. But you know, I take a lot of like risks, and I'm like, oh, I don't have the money now, I'll just pay for it later. And I'm currently in the paying for it later phase where, you know, I have the debt to speak of. And some of that was not my fault. Like, I definitely want to like say some of it was my fault, but like when you get to a point where you're not making enough money that you have to start buying groceries on your credit card, tell me how that's my fault, because people aren't paying me enough and they're axing my hours. Is that my fault? No, you know. And so like I've gotten to that place a lot of times too where I'm using money I don't have to try and pay for my life. So I really am, I'm a poverty line type person right now. And I can say that, you know, with my full chest, because I don't think we're really realizing how many people are on that poverty line. And, you know, people want to say like, oh, if you're poor, you're lazy.
No, that's not true.
You know, and it's like, that's not true at all.
The wealthy people are not working nearly as hard as the poor people.
Yeah. And so it's like, whether some of it was because of my choices I made. You know, I could have gone into a more lucrative field. I could have gone into a trade. I didn't. I went into teaching. And then from there, I went into entertainment. And, you know, now I'm kind of floating in the gig economy, doing a bunch of things. I'm a business owner, you know. My ideal would be if my business would shoot off into outer space and I could actually hire people to work for me. I get to the point where I have so many clients, I'm now giving other people my jobs. I'm delegating my roles. And I can take as many clients as I want, because to me, that's easy. It's probably not easy for a lot of other people to do what I do and to educate people and to, you know, help people,
but
coach
I think
people.
Too, you're like still seeing, it's like you're still seeing it as like you can't get that.
Yeah.
In which is like, I need you to break it because I see it. I'm like, girl, you literally could. Because I think it was the last podcast when you were like, I just do a writing business. And I was like, no, actually, there's a lot of people who are really not that smart and they need your services. And I could see you having 20 people working for you and you doing that, because it is absolutely necessary. But I think too, I do think that it will take off when you like start to take baby steps in switching how your brain is thinking about it. Because if you're not like if you're not you could want all that, but then if you get it, you're going to do the same things that you do now. And so it's going to be like baby steps of mind shift and taking accountability for looking at your bank account, even if the numbers aren't what you want it to be. Because I remember looking at my accounts and being like, shit, I'm literally 30 grand. I don't have 30 grand in credit card debt. I don't know how to do this. I literally don't know how. But honestly, it does start with like the little things in your mind. And then it's kind of weird because you start seeing, especially as somebody who has ADHD, starting to see the money as I have to reward myself with something so much more rewarding than that boring ass task that I know is going to actually be more rewarding. So I have to make like, okay, when I'm looking at my bank account, I hate looking at it, but this is my time when I get to light a candle and do something to make it more exciting. Otherwise, it's not happening for me. And then I fall into the spiral again. And so that's been a little bit more helpful. But I will say, like, I could so see you having your business be writing with Mimi, literally taking off and literally supporting you. Because then the other thing is too, like, what's cool is that money is a tool. Imagine if you could just your business is taking off, you don't even have to run it, but you could use the money that you're making is like, oh, you want to take a class with some famous comedian and it's $1,000. You're like, easy, boom, $1,000. Gonna go take this class. Oh, I want to fly to New York for the weekend to go do whatever, to go take, I don't know, maybe another class, or I want to go whatever. Then I think when I'm starting to think of when you start to think more as money as a tool for freedom, I think that's more helpful and constructive for your goals and stuff. But it's really difficult to do. It takes like months, years to, and I'm still on the path of trying to figure it out. But I will say I've been like meticulously curating my like feeds. Like this past week I haven't even been on social media unless I have my two girls that I like to listen to for finance. One is like I'm bougie on a budget or something like that, and then another woman was like the unpunishable bullwhipping, and then I'm like only listening to finance stuff. That's the only reason why I'm on social media this week is because
or to watch me crash out,
or to watch you crash out.
Yeah, which you're doing, because you love me.
Yes, because I love you. Yes.
Yeah.
But I will say it does help so much. And then you start to, it really does help. And it's a good first step that is free that you don't have to do, because a lot of money advice is so boring to me as well. And it just doesn't relate because it's like, oh yeah, save, 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 save. And I'm like, I don't want to. But then when I think, oh, save because you're going to want to have fun later. I'm motivated by fun. If I know, oh, I have money for fun, 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 fun. And like part of me having the most fun I can have is safety within my money. So if I know I'm like secure with my money, it means, oh, I could book a trip and have fun and not think, oh shit, now I need to pay for this when I get back. That's like how I have the most fun, is when I can just do something and I don't even have to think about it. And so I have to literally, it's so hard because I have to tell myself, okay, have fun. You have to have this because this is your like fun money for life that you don't know is going to happen yet. There's these fun things that are going to pop up and you're going to want to do them and you're going to want to have the money there for fun. And that's what motivates me, not like saving for emergencies. Like those emergencies and things are going to happen regardless. But it's like, if I have that there, then I'm still not like as stressed about it as I would be otherwise. And so it's like little things, and I'm trying to figure out what's really works for me with my fun mindset, ADHD, all of that stuff. But it also is like, in a way, people say that ADHD is actually a superpower too. So I'm like, okay, how is that? I don't know yet. I'll let you know when it does. But
yeah, I'm still working my head around that one.
Yeah.
But I think I like your point about making the unfun thing fun, where you sit down and you budget, but you do it at a cute coffee shop.
Yeah.
And you do this. Have we ever talked about this sounds inappropriate, my tea bag days?
It does sound inappropriate. I don't think we have.
I was so broke in New York City and I wanted to go to a coffee shop and I couldn't afford to. And so I would actually bring tea bags and ask for hot water, which is free. And if I had cash, I would put $1 inside the tip jar and be like, "Thank you," because I know this is free. So I mean, water should be free in my opinion. But you know, thanks for giving me a cup of hot water. Here's $1. So I would get my hot water and put my tea bag in it, and I'd be like, here I am at the coffee shop. You know, I get to enjoy the ambiance, but I don't feel like a total piece of shit for not buying a $10 latte, you know. And so that was something I did for a while to try to save money. And I don't know how useful it was, but it's always something I remember. And I'm like, well, you know, you can only go up from there.
Yeah.
You can only afford hot water.
Exactly.
So I've been in the pits of despair, I feel like, in and out of that for many years. And so it's hard to remember the times when I haven't been down in the dumps and when things have been good and like the good I have done in this past 4 or 5, 6 years.
Even the past few months, this past 6 months.
Yeah.
Because this was the first year you literally had major speaking gigs.
Yeah.
And like, now we just got to keep going and get more. And there's plenty more colleges, schools, whatever, that could use your expertise.
This is true. Well,
we're running over,
shooting the shit today, but hopefully wherever you are, if you're crashing out, know you're not alone.
You're okay.
And you're
gonna be okay.
And hey, try bringing a tea bag to a coffee shop. Maybe it'll make you feel not so bad.
And change your algorithm.
Yes.
Change your algorithm.
Stop listening to sad people on the internet. All right, y'all. Who is this?
The Girls Next Pour.
Bye.